So what we're going to do today is a couple of things. We are on the tail end of Marty Miller's 66-day challenge. And so right now we are on number 39. And we're going to pick up the pace a little bit because of some of the stuff that he's covered in 40, 45, 41, we've pretty much already covered because we kind of took some breaks here and there. So what we're going to do is we're talking about today, highlight of today, Robert, our very own Robert, has created some smart plans. So we're going to talk a little bit about smart plans first and show you some of the smart plans that Robert has created so you can see those. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about or focus on listing packages, and then also how to incorporate children in your process as it relates to winning your clients for life. And so we're going to talk about those two things or three things in general. So let's get started. And we're going to I'm going to share my screen. So can you all see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So within Command, and I will say this, just so all of you are aware, there are some updates coming to Command. So hopefully it's supposed to either happen today or tomorrow. So if you log into Command later on tonight and it's not accessible, that is the reason. They're supposed to be doing some software updates. It could start around 6 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So again, if you log into Command around 6 p.m. tonight and or tomorrow, and you cannot get in, don't panic. They are supposed to be doing some major upgrades to some tweaks. So just want to give you a heads up in case you do receive that. If for whatever reason that they decide to push that upgrade out, we'll let you know, but I just wanted to give you a heads up in case you do experience that. So a couple of things as it relates to smart plans. So let's actually get into it. Quick question, how many of you are sending out smart plans on a regular basis? No? Lucy, you?
No, not yet.
Not yet, Terry? I think you are, Terry, right or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and Crystal? Crystal, are you sending out smart plans?
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Yes, I'm doing some general ones like the neighborhood and that sort of thing.
Okay. Let's see, by name, by author. All righty, so these are our very own Robert. So he has submitted a couple of smart plans. So he's got Twilio First Touch, which we're actually going to look into. The Happy 4th of July, that's a huge one. So let me go from left to right. So he's got Facebook ad lead follow-up. So this is after your follow-up for Facebook leads. We've got about 447 agents that are using that. It's a 7-touch program, and there's 13 steps involved in that. Then did everyone see how I was able to pull those up, or do I need to go over that again? Good, is everybody good to see where I got that from? Okay, so then Happy 4th, which is about 107 agents that are using that. There's a no answer callback plan. So if no one's answering, there's one, about 21 agents are using that. That's 5 touches. I didn't mention that the Happy 4th is 2 touches. And then one that it hasn't been rated yet, but 8 agents are using, and this is the Twilio First Touch. So I actually want to log into this one and see that. So I'm going to add this smart plan. And remember, part of what we've been training you on is when you're initially downloading it, it's recommended that you don't change the title just as of yet, because sometimes when you have time and you're just adding Smartplans to your command, you may not necessarily have time to tweak it or to have it say exactly what you want to say. And sometimes if there's a lag in time, it'd be best for you to keep the title as is, and you can always at a later point go back and adjust that. So then we want to download here because we're not going to be able to see it until we actually download it. Let's see, I think that's it. There's only 4. So now we are in library. So now we want to go back to my smart plan, or in your case, it'll be you. And then it's always going to float to the top. So this was created on today's date, which is October 27th. You see it says My Twilio First Touch. So then to edit this, we want to go to our pencil on the right-hand side and select that. So then here you see what he did. So he's got, you know, his salutation, which is aloha, and then he's got the first contact. So this, his first step is a text message. It's with Twilio. And so then in the greeting, he's got text, he's got an emoji here, and then he says aloha. Keep in mind that when you're doing these in terms of creating these function keys, he doesn't have any spaces in it. So the key thing to do, as all of you know, is just whenever you're working on Smartplans, make sure that you have yourself as a contact so you can test it on yourself. So it says aloha, and then it has the agent's name. This is, you know, Robert in this case, or whomever is going to send this out with Keller Williams Realty Maui. This is an additional business number for me that I may reach out to you from time to time. So please add this number to my contact in your phone number. So let me take a step back to reinforce what Robert's doing with this smart plan. Number one, within smart plans in general, if you are adding a text function, you have to incorporate Twilio. Twilio is a third-party app. Twilio will assign you, if you pay for it, an 808 number. That 808 number is different from your cell phone number. And so what he's doing is this. He's getting ahead of the game by sending this information out to them so that they know in advance that, hey, whenever you get a text message from this number, this is me, add it to your contact list. So then that way people don't think it's spam or someone trying to hack into their system or anything. So he's basically communicating up front, hey, this is another email. This is associated with me. He also gives them later on down, it says the text out option, which is also integrated at the bottom in terms of they can opt out of it. But this is a great best practice before you start getting active in Smartplans to make sure you send this out as a heads up. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute and take any questions or comments about this particular smart plan and its functionality. Anybody?
I like this one.
Good.
I just set my stuff up on it and I'm going to send it to me. I'm expecting a text any moment.
Exactly. So it's really good, and it just keeps you ahead of the game, and it's short and sweet. If you look at the whole totality of it, you've got the first task, which is the actual text message. Then there's a delay. And then here is a follow-up, aloha. If you would like to reach me directly, please don't hesitate to call my cell. And he has, you know, whatever the cell number is. I also want to make sure you also add my app on your phone. So he's doing a 3-pronged approach. He's letting them know about his text messaging. Then he's following up with them to say, contact me by phone if you want. Then he's also saying, download my app if you haven't already. So it's a 3-pronged, you know, really quick, to the point, you know, effective touch. So if you haven't added this, I would definitely add it. You can tweak it to how, whatever your vernacular is. If, you know, you speak a little differently, if you want to change the salutation or whatever it is you want to do, you can do that. And then that's the end of the smart plan. Sweet, short, and simple. And oftentimes that's the best way. Terry, you're nodding your head.
Great, yeah.
Good, awesome. So yeah, so then for those of you that haven't been involved, or excuse me, started Smartplans. Let's say we save this, we don't want to make any changes, so we're just going to save it for now. You can always go back and save it again, which I'm going to give you a tip in just a minute. And then if you wanted to test this out, remember I talked about testing for those people. I know Terry and Crystal, you guys are already doing it, but you would simply hit the icon here, and then you would search your name, and I'll just put my name for now. And you see, I put a little funny tag that I'm a part of Robert's fan club. So then I just select myself, add myself to the smart plan. I want to send it now. And then I just confirm. So then that way it's just going to say you have Twilio set up. And that's it. So then that way I'm testing it to make sure it looks good. And I'll keep you posted what I hear. Hopefully I should be getting it soon. But yeah, that's simple. Any other follow-up questions as it relates to that smart plan that I highlighted there? Again, there's 4 of them from Robert, but specifically the one that I added.
I have a question. How do we find Roberts in particular again?
Exactly. And I just got the message on my phone. So go into library first. And then from library, well, the first thing you want to do is you want to change it, because right now I have smart plan name. So then I select the drop down option, go into author, and then you can go in and say Robert.
Okay, got it.
Yep. And then it should pull up, and there you are. And then I already added those. I'm just going to add all of these other ones too, just to support Robert.
I sent it to me, so we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, let me know if you get it.
And then, oh, I got to press confirm.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, and then I want to add
So
this
my phone,
one.
we'll see. Where's my?
And then I'm going to rate this. So I would encourage you, download them all. I was the first one to rate it. Woohoo! Support. So if you use it, you like it, definitely rate it for them. All right, so let's move on to the next, but I'm going to, let's see. I got my text. It says exactly what it does. It says, aloha, Latasha. This is, I put Latasha Baldwin because I was testing it as the agent. With Keller Williams Realty Maui, this is an additional business number for me that I may reach out to you from time to time. So please add this number to my contact in your info. So yeah, it's good to go, and I got it. All righty, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to watch the listing packet. And so let me go to, which one is it, this one? The listing packet. So one of the things that we had talked about last week was we gave you some strategies around the listing packets in general. And oftentimes some of the questions that agents propose to us is sometimes, well, not sometimes, those listing packages are very long and sometimes they can be cumbersome. And so how do you identify, you know, are you using all of them, some of them? The thing that you want to do is you want to figure out, you know, your top 5, your top 10 or top 20 or whatever it is. You want to first identify what your objective is. We're going to watch creating a listing package. When you watch that, think about within my own listing package, what is the one thing I'm trying to communicate? What is the one thing I want to clearly communicate and get out to my potential clients and clients? And so having that frame of reference in terms of what your objective, your purpose is, will help you create an effective listing package. So there may be some things that don't apply or you don't need to address right then and there that you can easily take out. So let's just watch this and we'll talk about it shortly.
And welcome back to the KW Command 66-Day Challenge 4.0. Today is day 39. So yesterday we worked through designs and we actually created a pre-listing packet from the listing presentation. Today we're going to go in and actually create the second half of that, what I would recommend as a listing presentation at your listing appointment. So to do that, we're going to come into our designs applet here on the left-hand side, the one with a little paintbrush on it. We're going to
Sorry, my internet is buffering.
What number is on this one again?
This is 39.
Okay, thanks.
So let me do this.
Click on the plus
There we
sign
go.
at the bottom right to start a new print asset. We're going to click on print and then next. That's going to connect us into the WeBrand editor where we can choose our template. We're going to choose listings, listing presentation, and we've been working with this second version of the listing presentation. So we're going to click on use, and that will allow us to start choosing what we want to utilize of all of the templates here on the left-hand side. Remember, like I said yesterday, these are all individual one-page templates. We are going to combine these into a multi-page document here on the right-hand side. So we need to start off with page number 1. It's identical to yesterday's. However, it's just going to be the introduction, right, of our actual listing presentation. Moving down from there, I think we need to get a property profile page. So we're going to click on this one, which would talk about their actual listing and their house.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
We're going to get a market snapshot page, which is the next one. And then we're going to bring in comparable properties. And for me, honestly, guys, that's it. I'm going to have my actual CMA for my MLS attached to this underneath. And then I'll probably have printouts of every single property included as a comp so they can see the pictures and those types of things. But as far as my actual listing presentation, I'm of the thought of less is more. I'm going to assume that they've read my pre-listing packet. If not, I'll have a copy with me, and I can certainly go through my open house strategy, my marketing plans, my numbers, all of the things that are included in that document. And yet, as far as actually creating a listing packet, this is really going to be at 5 pages plus my supplemental documents from my MLS. So let's go back to page number 1. Essentially, we're just going to make simple edits on that one. We made the same ones yesterday. So we're going to change the name to the names of the client. We're going to change our DBA name to our name, our logo for our Keller Williams Market Center. We're going to change our name, our information here, and our profile. So we did all of that yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next page. Again, remember, if you want to see all of the pages, click on this pages box here. It always gives you a blank page for number 1. I always just delete that. And now I'm going to go to page number 2. And I'm going to collapse this so that I can get to the second page, right? So we'll get on to that page. This is our market snapshot page. No, I'm sorry, it's not. Now we're at page number 2. This is a page of their actual property. So the first thing I'm going to do is come in and change the address. 1050 Heather Lane is not the address, so we're actually going to look at what it would look like if we were listing my house. So we're going to change the address by just clicking on each one of those blocks separately and putting in the 2422 Fawn Lake Circle. Sorry, guys, a little bit of sleep deprivation going in there. Couldn't remember my own address. All right, so I've got Fawn Lake Circle, my number here. The number overlaps the street, so we're just going to click on the number. We're going to drag that down just a little bit so that it looks professional. There we go. Then we're going to come in, right, and we're going to know the number of bedrooms and bathrooms on this actual property. So we could come in and we would just change that. Ours is actually a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, and it is 2309 square feet. And if I have the history of my property, I can put that in. When did I actually last sell the property? So let's just say we'll just leave that there, last sold. So when did they actually last sell their property? If you don't have that information, feel free to remove it. We'll click on Save Changes. Next, you've got this kind of stock photo of the back of the house here. If you have a photo of the front of their house that you can pull from their MLS, great. We're going to go in that case, to Images. We would click on Add. We would drag and drop. So we would go find that actual logo, excuse me, and bring that in. Now, I don't have a picture of the front of my house. And so I could go with this stock photo, but I actually like going into my company. I'm going to choose house types. And I'm going to go all the way down to the very end. This is just a nice way to kind of put a custom touch on this. If you'll see, here's one that actually has a for sale sign on it, and it's blank. So I'm going to replace that image with the house for sale sign. Then I'm going to come back up to logos, and I'm going to bring in my actual team logo, and I'm going to drop that on the for sale sign. I think that's just a nice little kind of marketing touch that, you know, reminds them who you are and ultimately what that sign's going to look like when you do get it in their front yard. So I'll resize the logo and get it to fit, and there we go. Next, we want to start looking at the information that's included on this page. So it says your home is 10% larger than the average property sold in Barton Hills. I basically have the opportunity when I am in my MLS, so I can do a couple of things. One, what I did was I did a comparative market analysis for homes sold in my neighborhood of similar size over the last year, right? Not of similar size, all homes that were sold in my neighborhood over the last year. And I can come down, you can see, all right, here are all the homes that sold, and the average square footage is 2452. And that's the average square footage of all the homes that have sold over the last year in my neighborhood. I then looked at the square footage of my property, which is 2309. I did the math, 2452 minus 2309, that's a difference of 143 or 5.8%. So in this case, I would come in and actually say, your home is, and it's 5.8%, and it's not larger, my home is actually smaller than the average property sold in, and then I would just put in Fawn Lake, which is the name of my neighborhood, and I can click on Save Changes there. Your home does have the average number of bedrooms, so the average on my comp was 4 bedrooms, that's correct. The average is 2 full baths and 1 half, so I'm gonna leave that. Your home has 1 more bathroom, that's not correct. So I would come into the typewriter and I would say your home has the average number of bathroom, or has the average, how did they put that on the other one? Let me save that real quick. Your home has the average number of bedrooms compared to the average property. So your home has the average number of bathrooms compared to the average property. Your home has the average number of bathrooms compared to, all right. And then we're gonna change Barton Hills to Fawn Lake one more time. There we go. And we might wanna just space that down. So that looks good. There we go. And space, save changes. If it doesn't fit, again, just drag that bar out a little bit more to kind of make it look a little bit better. Let's actually just put it all on one line and let the system do it. So we can do that as well, and then it'll kind of put it together. We can bring that back in just a touch. And then we're gonna pull this paragraph down just a touch. Based on this information and the condition of your property, your home should command a slightly higher list price. It's probably gonna be just slightly lower since it is a smaller house. So I would just put slightly lower list price, and then we would again change that to Fawn Lake. So that's the quick and easy way. Again, you're gonna wanna have a comparative market analysis done and the tax information for that property so you know how big it is as compared to other properties. So that was pretty quick and easy. I've got the Your Property page done. Let's move to the next page, which talks about what's happening and a market snapshot. So this right here, this is actually a portion of command that we can bring in. It's called a market snapshot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna click on the market snapshot. And when I do that, you see I get the KWLS sign. I'm gonna click on KWLS, and then I'm gonna click on snapshots, and I'm gonna put in the name of the neighborhood as next door has it, which is actually Fawn Lake and Pine Lakes. There's that neighborhood, and when I click on it, you can see it starts to bring in the neighborhood snapshots. So I've clicked on this one for Barton Hills. I want to replace it with the Fawn Lake Pine Lake one. I click on replace image, and now all of a sudden I have that new market snapshot. I'm so sorry guys, my throat is killing me. So let's change out Barton Hills to Fawn Lake. And click on save changes. We'll have to space that out a little bit to get it to fit on one line. There we go. Move it over just slightly, formatting. So then we'll come into this one and we're going to, here's their paragraph. Barton Hills is an extremely desirable neighborhood. It's attractive to young professionals and families moving to the area. You can kind of determine what you want this to say. I'm blessed in Houston that our HAR actually has a whole neighborhood setup. So if I come in to, oops, let me get out of that, HAR, I can go into neighborhoods, search by neighborhoods, and I can actually put in the name of the neighborhood that I'm looking for information on. And then I can kind of, I can cheat a little bit, honestly. I'm gonna take this paragraph right here, these 2 lines, I'm gonna copy that. So hopefully you have some way to kind of get some information for this actual page. But that's what I'm gonna do is go into the typewriter, I'm gonna remove this, add in this, save changes, and then I'll move it up a little bit so that it fits. Okay, so there you can see that. Fawn Lake has 195 single family properties, median build year to 2003, median size. That's a really long sentence. Let's make that a little clearer. And these home values. And I don't like the K. So there we go. We'll put that in, and you've got that information ready to go and formatted for that paragraph. So then it says over X time period, average list prices have increased by and average days on market. What I did is I ran a comparative market analysis for the last 12 months, and then I ran it for the 12 months prior to that. And then I'm basically just going to compare the two. So this is pretty easy to do in your MLS. Just run a comparative market analysis. So 2 years ago, you can see the average days on market was 107, and the average sold price per square foot was 105.13. If I come into the most recent, there we go. You can see that the average days on market is actually 84, and the average sold price per square foot is 118.28. So I can do that math and know that the days on market over the last year has decreased by 21%, and the price per square foot has increased by 12.5%. So I can just come over here, I'm gonna say over X time period, that's gonna be over the last 12 months. And save those changes, can format that, bring that bar out. Average list price have increased by, let me just click on the paragraph. So average list price in my calculation was 5.8%. Days on market have decreased by 21%. Oh, it's not, I'm sorry, 12.5%, not 5.8. There we go. So you'll want to do this just so you have that to kind of come in and fill in. And then it says the average price that homes in this area sell for is higher than average list price. So I'm actually going to come back to my neighborhood, and I'm going to get this information here, the median sold, and we're going to copy that sentence and put that in. So you can leave this in if it's accurate, or kind of change what the average, what the sentence says. Again, it's just about providing them with data on their neighborhood so that you appear as the neighborhood expert. Finally, you want to make sure that you change this Barton Hills to your neighborhood in that last paragraph. So compare Barton Hills to Fawn Lake by downloading my app. What I did is I just opened a second version of command. I went into the consumer applet, I clicked on the URLs, and then I'm going to copy my URL, which is KWTY-RWV. I'm going to come in, I'm going to click here and typewriter that out, take out the X's, KWTY-RWV. Right, let's double check that. KWTY-RWV, and that is correct. I'll save those changes, and I can move on to the next page. This last page are the comps. So I could go through and look at the actual comparable properties. So we would go in, let's see, this is the most recent, and I would just kind of choose probably 4 of the best comps, the ones that make the most sense. But let's just choose this first one. I'll show you what the process would be. So that's 6013 South Fawn Lake Drive. I want to go back to listings. I'm going to look up 6013 South Fawn Lake Drive. And I can find that address. So here, that is here. If I click on select, I now have the ability, number 1, to change out the photo. So let's replace that image. Number 2, I'm going to come in and change the address to 6013 South Fawn Lake Drive. Save those changes. And then I can also go through and I can click on listing details here. Now I have the details for this property. I'm going to click on the keyboard, and I'm going to go through. I'm just going to scroll down. So 3 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Okay, so that's actually 2 baths. Square footage, 2,000. Nope, it's actually 2009. List price, 230. And then I would have to go into my CMA to see what it's sold for. So if I do that, I can see it sold for 233 in 4 days. Wow, it's pretty quick. So I would come in and say sold for 233 in 4 days. And that's how quickly and easily I can change that comp. I would do the exact same thing with 3 other comps, right? And if I have multiple comps, guys, there is a way to add a template more than once. So I have this page here now. Let's go back to the template, and let's say I wanted to add another one. So now I have 5 pages. So you can see here's now page 5. So here was page 4, the one I just made the edits to. If you've got more than 4 comps, feel free to add it a second time and use in the additional comps. And guys, that's it for me. With the listing presentation, oftentimes I'll even say, hey guys, I have a dog and pony show about all of my marketing. It was included in my pre-listing packet. Did you have a chance to review that? And if they say yes, great. Did you have any questions? No, fantastic. Just some quick highlights to recap. I'll hit maybe 3 or 4 really important things that I do in my marketing strategies that are, kind of winning moments. And then I take them into the actual, kind of discussing the comps and discussing their property and really start showing them the comparable properties. I'll pull out the full CMA that I have printed. Usually I print a map from my MLS of the properties, and then we'll start going through and we'll decide on a price from there. So now that this has finished, I can actually come up and retitle this to listing presentation. I would, of course, go in and download it. And then once I downloaded it, I would click on done. Here's the nice thing, just like I said yesterday, now I have a template for listing presentation right here, right? So I can now use this anytime I need to have another listing. And here's my pre-listing packet. So if I go on another appointment, all right, cool, I need to go into the pre-listing packet. I can just click on it from within my templates and easily change the name of the clients, right? So this is gonna change. But pretty much, remember on the pre-listing packet, this was the only thing that was specific. So now I can download that, print it off, ready to go. And then I would go back in and say, okay, now I want to edit my listing presentation. And now it would just be a matter of going through the listing presentation, bringing in the new stats, right? So I would have to bring in the new, your home is bigger or smaller. I would bring in the market snapshot. I would then bring in the comps on 1 or 2 pages, and I would be done. I would print my documents that I need from the MLS, and I would roll from there. So that is the quick and easy way to create a listing presentation ready for your clients, out of command, professional looking, sharp, formatted well, and one that's really going to help you land more listing appointments. So that's it for today. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. And as always, I'll look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. Thanks so much.
All right. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute. Thanks for joining us, Robert. So a couple of things I want to go over before
Sorry,
I actually.
I ended up at the hardware store. I was up a little too early this morning. I was on a couple Zoom meetings prior to
That's
that.
all right. I'm going to get my
track
stick
of everything, and it just took off on me. So
I'm going to get my stick
I
out.
can't hear you, Latasha.
Can you hear me?
I think we're doing that same thing.
It's you,
again.
Robert.
Yeah, can't hear you. Let me try and mute myself.
Okay, I can hear
and see if
you.
I come back in.
Everybody else can hear me though, right?
Yes,
Okay,
it's
all right.
you, Robert.
I love how Lucy added that. Thank you. So a couple of things we want to talk about. Going back to the listing package, there are a couple of things that I wanted to reiterate, which I'm thankful that Marty Miller also did, is when you look at it, and I'm actually going to go into it right now, it'll make more sense. So give me a second to share.
I can hear you now. I hit my mute button.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go into designs. That's interesting. Let's see. Let's go here. Fabulous. Okay, so let's try it again. In a perfect world, would be able to do this, but let's try one more thing. All right, so let me clear.
Try retyping the agent.kw.com up there. See if that works.
Okay.
Terry, are you in command?
Yes.
Okay.
It may be
Trying to look at
something.
your screen. I just
It
wanted
may
to
be
check.
something with my internet. So it was doing something screwy. I think it's more my internet issue.
Yeah, because I'm in command. I was still on the smart page section and smart plans, and then I just switched to designs, and it took me into
It's
design.
something with my internet. It's not. So Robert, I'm going to give you co-hosting rights.
I was gonna either that, or if Terry's in it, let's use hers. You know, have her share the screen. Yeah.
Oh,
You know how to share it,
I just
Terry?
gave you co-hosting. Hold on.
Okay.
Terry, you should be good to go to share, and I'm going to stop sharing. And then, so Terry, are you able to share? Are you good?
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Look at that. Rock star.
All right. So Terry's going to navigate for me. Thanks, Terry. So, so if you can go back to the home screen, Terry, real quickly. Thank you. Just so everybody knows where we're going, the file path.
Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes, we can. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So in the home screen, you'll get to this. It'll say welcome. So then you want to go down to the 6th or the 7th or whatever it is in terms of designs. Oh, and then one other thing, just as a cheat sheet, which most of you already know, but you can select or click on that red area within KW, and that'll give you a pull-out option to see the actual words in case you ever get confused about where you're going. So you can simply do that and then go into designs from there. I love my new Vanna. So she got it. It might be a delay, might be my internet delay. So then within designs, you have the option to go into email, landing page, social, print. Let's go into print. And then click OK. And I'm sorry, not OK, but the plus sign. So sorry, at the bottom. Oh no, we got a sad face.
Yeah. It may not just be you, right?
Maybe I was the first one to the sad face party.
Yeah.
Terry, do you already have a listing presentation within your design templates?
Not where I pulled them all
Go back
up.
into print. Yeah, hit next and see if we can go back in. Maybe that was just a temporary glitch.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
Oh,
All right.
I'm going to try now too.
Okay. So Terry, if you can stop sharing, and then Robert's going to join. I'm wondering if we need to go into Safari.
Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So let me get out of here. Plus, print. There we go.
Wow. Well, aren't you the lucky one?
I just stared at it with my stink eye, and I told her, I said, you better. So,
I'll let you drive it. I don't need to tell you where to go. You're good.
all right.
Listing.
Thank you.
Maybe I do need to drive.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
So hold on, Robert. Really
want to work on?
Well, there's one thing I want to highlight. If you remember in Marty Miller's, which his was a little lagging in terms of the time, remember that he only had 2 options. Just keep in mind that we've had a system upgrade in terms of additional templates. So now you've got 5 instead of original 2. So originally we had 2. So just click on either one. Doesn't really matter which one. Just click on that one. It's fine.
Which one was the pre-listing? We used the listing to do the pre-listing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
So then, Robert, if you want to remind them again about, there's a couple things I wanted to remind them of. number one in terms of how to load and how to get that wheel of death to stop. So if you want to recap that a minute, and then I want to talk about something else.
Yeah, so if everybody notices, you get all of your pages over on this side, right? So you get all the pages that you can add to your presentation over here. They're not added automatically. You have to drag them over or click on them and bring them over. But you see, when I decided to click this up arrow on the page and it comes up, there's this one page that just fine, well, it stops spinning and then it doesn't stop spinning. But what happens usually is when I bring in my first page, and it comes in and stops just fine. It should. Yep. So I've got that one there now. Now I can go back over here and delete the spinning wheel of death, right? Because it just drives people crazy. So now you've got page 1, and then you can add 2, 3, 7, 9, 15, whatever you want, right? And here's the comparables template. So if I added that one in there, Lucy, like you were asking, this would be, you just pick the comparables out of here and you might put in maybe the process. And then, you choose what you want to talk about. If it's a quick thing, right? You don't have to pick all of them. You can pick any of them,
And then there's one at the bottom. Scroll, if you will, to on the right-hand side, or excuse me, left-hand side. So sorry. Keep going down. There was one that he wanted. Is that the end? Or
yeah, that's it.
Okay, go back up. There's one that I wanted to highlight. Keep going. Oh, you know what? Because it's a different one. Go up a little more. Okay, yeah,
So
it's a different template.
Portfolio, featured listings.
Yeah, it was a different template. But what I wanted to point out, there was one, and we'd have to go into that exact template. But
That's
anyway,
fine.
what I was trying to say was there's one template or one page that actually featured like a for sale sign, and it had a blank box to it where you could drag your own information. You can create that yourself. It just takes a little bit of time, but if you utilize that one, it's really cool. And it's just a really effective marketing tip in terms of being able to incorporate that in there.
Remember which one it was, Latasha?
I want to say it was the last one.
Yeah, it was.
It was this one?
Yeah, I think it was that one.
Oh, I thought it was one of the new ones, but okay.
No, because remember he was saying originally that he didn't like those because
that's right.
because of the copy, the bleeding of the copy. Yeah.
Right.
So scroll down and see if that.
It's that at the 1050 Heather Lane.
Yeah, keep going down.
It's that one.
Okay. The bottom.
It's the 1050 Heather Lane. And then what he did is he changed the photo.
Okay. I think I know where you're going with that. So
That one.
This one.
Yeah. And then he went into, to change the photo, he went into company and then
I want to say app images, because it was an image of
houses. Yeah.
it was a for sale sign. I'll have to find it again, the file path for that, but I thought it was super slick as to way to do that. So I'm going to work on that offline and create a file path and get it ready for you guys. Because I thought that was super slick. Yeah, I'll find out. But yeah, I mean, Terry, you agree though? I thought it was super slick from a marketing
I did too.
standpoint. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look into it.
I remember seeing that, and I tried playing with it once before, and I was like, well, why don't they let me upload my own image in there? So I was thinking, I want my logo on there, not Summit Properties.
Yeah, I'll look into it, and then I'll create a file path and show you guys how to do it once I figure it out. But it should be easy. The only other thing that I wanted to highlight on here is in general, just make sure that you don't have to have all 40 pages or whatever the pages are. I know we've had some issues on the MLS side, but Robert, do you mind seeing if any of the listings are showing up?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So let's go search by, does anybody have a listing right now?
Yes, I
What's
do.
the number?
388985, I think.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
enter.
Yay, it's populating. Woohoo.
Good, because I was trying that the other day and it didn't work. That's
I
it.
know, I
This is the
know.
one
I'm
behind
so
it right here?
glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And come on, photos.
Well, it's a good sign that at least the one photo in terms of the feature one is showing, because at first it wasn't doing that part at all.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Making progress. I mean, I don't see the photos yet, but we are making progress in the fact that the feature image is there now.
Right.
So maybe it's something they're working on.
And right now, Terry, it's probably all going to change. It'll probably get fixed within a 24-hour period. So
Okay.
I would, if you wanted to, you probably could use Firefox, and it would probably bring the pictures across. What I've heard is there was an kind of a security issue with the images in this applet, and they were researching it. But that being said, there's going to be some upgrades to the back end, and that should fix that problem. So
Okay.
today's usually the day they do that. Tuesday's kind of their cadence for rolling out updates. Don't tell anyone I told you that, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave them a heads up too at the beginning that it probably would come either today or tomorrow. And so in case they couldn't access it, that was probably the reason why.
Yeah, and I think they said something about it was 9 o'clock Pacific time, which is 6 o'clock our time. So if you have to be in command after 6 o'clock, download whatever you need to do, possibly tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow, 6 o'clock. And then if for some reason it gets pushed, don't be alarmed. So.
Okay.
All right, so let's go. We have a few more minutes. I want to get into the kids coloring book. So let's watch that. So Robert, if you could stop sharing for a minute, and then I'm going to play this video, and then that'll wrap us up for today. And then next class or before next class, I'll figure out that for sale sign and get that to everybody, or at least have it ready for Thursday. So let me share. And you can see my screen, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is about creating, basically incorporating the children or the keiki in your presentations. And so this one's going to talk about a coloring book, I believe. So let's watch this.
Williams, and welcome back to the KW Command 66-Day Challenge 4.0, and today is day 40. So the past 2 days we've done our pre-listing packet and our listing presentation. Today we're going to be back in designs, but I want to show you the ability to create sort of a blank design where you can bring in your own content, and more importantly, create something for the kids. I don't know about you, but if I find out that I have a listing appointment that I'm going on and children may be involved in the family, I try and do my best to provide something a little bit extra that will further kind of enamor me, if you will, with the sellers and more importantly, their family. And so I wanted to show you how you can actually create a blank or a coloring book page, if you will, using designs and a blank content. So creating something for the kids, if you will. So we're going to go into the designs applet here on the left-hand side, and we're going to click on the plus sign. We are creating a print asset because this is going to be the coloring book page that we want to print, so we can bring with us. And I'd go to the dollar store and buy yourself, several sets of crayons so you can bring that for the children as well. But when you first come in, we always see templates, and we can choose from all of these templates. In order to create a blank template, we're actually going to come into My Designs here at the top. So we're going to click on the My Designs tab, and when you do that, you can see the first option you see here is Start from Blank. So I'm going to click on Start. It's going to ask me to kind of figure out a format or do a custom size. And so in this case, I can choose flyer, which is going to be 8.5 by 11. That's what I want, flyers, letter size. I could have also chose custom size and gone that route and chosen inches and then done 8.5 by 11. But since I know my flyer is already 8.5 by 11, this works for me as well. So in order to kind of create this coloring page, I have found a site that I like to use here on the internet. It's called bestcoloringpagesforkids.com. And you can search for a variety of different coloring pages that they
All right, so let's do this. Sorry, my internet here is like just not cooperating. Let me try one more thing.
It's a good thing you're a wizard.
I'm trying. Oh my God, and now I can't get into that. Jesus. Help me. All right, Robert, I'm gonna have to have you log in, or I'm gonna stop sharing. And Robert, I'm gonna have you go into YouTube because now I can't get out of or get into the internet at all. So I'm gonna have to like completely shut down my computer and figure out what's going on with this internet over here. And it's Marty Miller series number 40, and it's the coloring book for kids.
That's why I'm talking away, and I'm just sitting here having a conversation with myself. I'm like, why can't she hear me? Because when I pulled up the internet, it went full screen, and I'm like, why I just what video was that again?
It's lesson 40, and it's coloring book for kids.
I got 55, 20, and all out of whack here.
So typically what I'll do, the best option is once you get into YouTube and click on Marty Miller, the subscription, and then go into the video side on the YouTube channel, and then it gives you more of a hierarchy. It starts with 66 and then it backtracks.
Got it.
Thanks for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Essentially, while Robert's doing that, I want to, I guess we can chat a little bit about the importance or restating the purpose of the coloring book for kids, just making sure that if you do have clients that have kids, a lot of times it's good to incorporate them or bring them into it. And so these are just clever ways and creative ways that, you know, when you, you know, I know in the COVID world, we have some challenges, but this could be something where you email it to them, you know what I mean? So even though we're more in a virtual world, we're doing some in-person interaction. This is another way to do it. So if you can hit play, that would be awesome. Thanks, Robert.
Yeah. 66-day challenge 4.0. Today's day 40. So the past 2 days we've done our pre-listing packet and our listing presentation. Today we're going to be back in designs, but I want to show you the ability to create sort of a blank design where you can bring in your own content and, more importantly, create something for the kids. I don't know about you, but if I find out that I have a listing appointment that I'm going on and children may be involved in the family, I try and do my best to provide something a little bit extra that will further kind of enamor me, if you will, with the sellers and, more importantly, their family. And so I wanted to show you how you can actually create a blank or a coloring book page, if you will, using designs and a blank content. So creating something for the kids, if you will. So we're going to go into the designs applet here on the left-hand side, and we're going to click on the plus sign. We are creating a print asset because this is going to be the coloring book page that we want to print, so we can bring with us. And I'd go to the dollar store and buy yourself, several sets of crayons so you can bring that for the children as well. But when you first come in, we always see templates, and we can choose from all of these templates. In order to create a blank template, we're actually going to come into My Designs here at the top. So we're going to click on the My Designs tab, and when you do that, you can see the first option you see here is Start from Blank. So I'm going to click on Start. It's going to ask me to kind of figure out a format or do a custom size. And so in this case, I can choose Flyer, which is going to be 8.5 by 11. That's what I want, Flyers letter size. I could have also chose custom size and gone that route and chosen inches and then done 8.5 by 11. But since I know my flyer is already 8.5 by 11, this works for me as well. So in order to kind of create this coloring page, I have found a site that I like to use here on the internet. It's called bestcoloringpagesforkids.com. You can search for a variety of different coloring pages that they have, but you can see I just put in house and got a whole series of different coloring pages for houses. You can see they have some for the winter. They've got some Halloween ones that you could use, right? The house on the prairie one down here at the bottom of the tree. So I can click on this one. It actually pulls it up there. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to save the image. So I'm going to save that image as Little House on the Prairie coloring page. I click on save. I've now got that saved on my hard drive, so that when I come back to command, I'm going to go into images, and I'm going to add an image from my hard drive. So this is how you're bringing in images to your own hard drive. So I'm going to click on this box. It's going to pull up my File Explorer on my computer. I'm going to choose the image I want to bring in. It's going to bring it in over here on the left-hand side. To get it added to the template, all I need to do is click on the plus sign, and you can see there it is now brought into my template. I wanted to take up more room on this page, so let me go ahead and resize it there. I'm dragging these corners out to make sure that it's taking up as much as possible. Now this is more of a horizontal, coloring page. If you wanted something more vertical, you can find those as well. But I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to come along, and then I want to add my team logo. So I'll click on the logo. It drops that in there as well. So I can kind of move that up to the top. Maybe make that a little bit smaller, and then center it. You can see that blue line basically indicates that I'm right in the center of my page. And then down here at the bottom, what I like to put in is I have a little kind of blurb about a coloring contest that I run for the kids. And so I'm going to come in and put in text, and I'm going to let me come over to text here. Let's drop in body text. We'll put it down here at the bottom. We'll click on the typewriter button here at the top. I'm going to take out body text and paste in kind of what I've written. Basically just says, welcome to Summit Property Group's Summer Coloring Contest. Enter your children's drawing, just have them color this drawing in, hand it back at the end of the appointment, or take a picture of it and send it to us. I give my email address. And then I say we'll be giving away prizes throughout the summer, and we'll feature your children's artwork on your Facebook page. So this is a great way to kind of follow up with the touch after the appointment, right? Even if you don't get the actual listing, you could still follow up with them and say, hey, just to let you know, your children's artwork has now been featured, whatever it may be. So we're going to click on that text box. We don't want it to be that tall. We want it to be wider. And it's just going to keep on going, isn't it? So we're just going to keep shrinking it down until I can get to the sidebar. Here that is. And I can bring that out. That's giving me a little bit of trouble. Let's just delete that. And let's go into text here. Let's just drop in something that's already there. All right, so we'll put this in, and then I should have resized this first, and I apologize, right? I'm not perfect either. And so we'll click now on the typewriter and paste it. That should get us, there we go. So now I can put that there. Let's go ahead and click on the text box again, and let's center that. Now I see I have a little bit more space that I can take up, so maybe I do 26. Let's bold it. I don't want it to be right at the edge, so let's take it off just a little bit so it's not going over. Also, just so you know, if you have a design with a white background on this light beige, sometimes it's hard to tell where especially I'm 42, right? My eyesight's starting to go. I can always come over here and click on File, and I can do Show Grid, and that will better show me kind of where my lines are, so I can center things and make things look a little bit better as well. So just another tool tip there for you. But now I basically have this coloring book page, and I can drag this in just a little bit more there. And now I'm pretty much done, right? So I could literally go in, I'm gonna make this coloring book page, and so I have that now named, and then I wanna download it. And I wanna download it as a PDF so that I can print it. We can do high-res print quality, it's only one page, and I would click on Start to Download. Now, quickly and easily, I have a coloring page, a great example of how to start a design from blank, right? We have some amazing templates. Our marketing team is amazing, but every now and then you want to just have a blank template to start from. You can now see, here's my coloring book page, and I can print off several copies of this, hit up the dollar store on the way to the listing, buy some crayons, have several copies ready to go, and then hand this out at the appointment. One, if you're keeping the children busy, sometimes your appointment goes even better because they have something to do while you're focused on the actual client. Tomorrow, we're going to take this one step further. I actually have a version of a children's contract, a contract that you can make with the children involved in the sale of the house that can help get their buy-in as well. So look forward to that tomorrow. As always, it's a pleasure speaking with you. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thanks so much. Good.
Awesome. Thanks, Robert. So we are definitely at our time, but want to recap really quickly. I think that was a super cool marketing strategy, an additional marketing strategy to create that. So my action items after today will be this: to look into that sale sign capability and work that out. And then number two, I'm going to give you or research a couple of other pages as it relates to coloring books. And then I can give those to you as well. Any comments or questions, Robert, you want to add anything for today?
Well, prior to COVID, I've seen people do this before where, we have our mail slots in a certain orientation in the office. You could take and put a couple of those pages in there in another manila envelope inside your mail folder so that, they're already ready to go, right? So you have something, if kids come in, maybe I don't normally walk around with crayons, but,
You don't?
I don't. But the office probably carries them. I'm sure it's standard for them. They do most of their crayons, so.
And then the other thing that I liked, and I will end with this, I liked also the additional strategy. Oh,
I have to go. Bye.
yeah, go bye. The other strategy is incorporating that into, getting their permission to post online. In terms of, you don't have to put their picture or anything, just the actual coloring book. Their coloring, not their name or anything like that. I think that's also a good way to touch, because then you're showing people online what it's like to work with me as your realtor. I care about your kids as well. And just like, any proud parent would put their kids' coloring image on the refrigerator just to say, oh, I'm proud of you. And that's another, cute way, making sure it's devoid of names and or pictures, but it's a cute way to go and just another touch point from a marketing strategy. So
really good sticky touch, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Any other questions or comments from anyone? Hopefully you got something good, positive out of today. Sorry for all the tech issues, but it is what it is in our world, but we're still here. We're still chugging along.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. I'll catch up with you guys if I need help.
Okay,
Appreciate you all. Thank you. Aloha.
Bye-bye.
Bye.